for NIANIJA.
Okay, thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. And good morning to you, good morning to everybody. Good morning, Madam Speaker. And then good morning to the Finance Minister and the team. Honorable Speaker, being the first person to take the floor today, and then this is the 2020 budget estimate that we are debating here. And then I just want to thank the Honorable Minister and team for fulfilling their constitutional requirement according to the 1997 Constitution, also the Public Finance Act of 2014. But first of all, Honorable Speaker, during our budget retreat in Tendaba, I was fortunate to visit my constituency, NIANIJA, and then I happened to gather some few opinion leaders within the constituency and ask them, what is your opinion on the 2020 budget? But unfortunately, somewhere are telling me the budget is only meant for you people, the civil servants. Is there any salary increment for you people or other things? So I took time to explain to them, no, this budget is for everybody, for every Gambian. Being a civil servant, being a farmer, or being whatever, it's for all of us. So the first things that they put to me was that I hope construction of our main road is captured in the 2020 budget. And the second thing that they told me was, I hope this budget will be able to address the inaccessibility of women accessing their rice fields, that is, access to their rice fields. The other thing was rather healthcare services. Will this budget address the needed healthcare that is of access, quality, and available to the doorstep of every citizen of NIANIJA and the Gambia at large? And then the other thing that they highlighted was water supply, because still we have some communities within NIANIJA whom we know that they lack clean, potable drinking water. So the last, but not the least, that they highlighted was the issue of youths of NIANIJA, because there is no facilities for them within the length and breadth of the constituency. So definitely, those are the things that they highlighted. And then as being their representative, I think it is important, if I also took the floor, I highlight some of these issues. Honorable Speaker, I think the budgeting process, as we've learned this year, we are improving. So based on the new standing orders, and then I think we have an opportunity in the coming years, that is the new constitution, we will have adequate time for National Assembly members to do the necessary consultation, not only within the Greater Banjul area, but also to our constituencies, ask for them what they definitely need to reflect in the estimates. Honorable Speaker, coming to the budget proper, revenue. In 2018, that is the 2019 budget, the revenue forecasted was 11.8 billion. That is for this year, 2019. But this year we've seen an increase, that is a revenue forecast of 13.6 billion. So my questions will be, what has led to this increase? Are we increasing our tax base, or are we increasing our tax rates? Or are we trying to maybe tighten some of the leakages or some other means that we will definitely realize more revenue, because we definitely need revenue for the upkeep of the country and also some development aspects. The other thing is, how much of the 2019 revenue was GRA able to collect? Because it was forecasted that we will have 11 point something billion, and then how much have been realized in reality? And then the other thing is, what should we do? That is both of us, both the Ministry of Finance, that's from the executive point of view, and also the National Assembly here. What should we do so that we can increase our revenue, so that we can have more revenue? Because without enough revenue, definitely all what we'll be talking here wouldn't be realized. We need money to run the affairs of this country. We need money for development of this country, especially coming from one of the poorest areas, that is NIANIJA. We need money to develop this country. The other thing is, Honorable Speaker, what mechanisms should we employ to minimize the leakages by all the collecting agencies? I realize, and it is not a hidden fact, that it's not only GRA that is collecting revenue. There are other ministries, departments, and agencies who know that they are collecting revenue. If you go through the budget, you will see items by collecting agencies. So definitely, what should we do to make sure that we have maximum revenues from all these sectors? Coming from the health sector, I know, no matter how small it is, we are collecting revenue, because I learned from the health committee engagement with the AFSTH when the current health minister was the then chief medical officer at AFSTH. When he was newly put in that position, he employed some mechanisms in which he realized there is a particular department that was collecting every month, let's say 20,000 or 30,000 in the services they do conduct. But when he tightened up, when he brought up new reforms, they were able to collect nearly 1 million plus per month. So definitely, I think that is a welcome move. That was a welcome move by the then MD, the Chief Medical Director of AFSTH, and I think this could be replicated in all MDAs to make sure that we have maximum revenue generation, maximum revenue collection at wherever, definitely. Because we all know man and money, if I am connected to money, I might be tempted. If I am collecting, let's say, $100 or $1,000, and I'm thinking back home, I don't have fish money there, definitely I might be tempted to use some part of it to take home. But if there are measures, strict measures, whereas probably you will have less contact with the monies. You just deal with numbers, then you have your everything inputted. I think those are welcome moves that we should all be thinking in that direction. Honorable Speaker, the other thing that I'm also interested to know from the Finance Minister is, what about in 2018, when the budget was presented here, that is 2018 fiscal year, there were policy pronouncement that there will be tax-free on rice. What is the status of that still? In this 2020 budget, are we still continuing on that, tax-free on rice? And if so, what impact have it still? Because speaking from the local point of view, of course there is tax-free on rice, but have it been definitely felt by the ordinary Gambians? So definitely these are questions that we need to ask ourselves. Though coming from a constituency where we grow our own rice, we eat our own rice, if I tell you at my home in NIANIJA, we don't buy a bag of rice. We get it from our furrows. The whole year around, 12 months per year, I don't buy a bag of rice. My bag of rice is in the Combos here. But in the Combos here, I'm also a resident here, and I'm also a Gambian. There are other Gambians who know that they are still not feeling that tax-free on rice, because the price of rice, if not increasing, is still at the same stagnant place. So definitely, Honorable Minister, these are issues that I want you to help us understand. Is there still tax-free on rice, or have this tax that been waived on rice been returned there? Honorable Minister, the other thing that I'm also interested to know is what means are also factored in this 2019 budget to improve the productive sectors of the economy. We've all seen in your statement that you've said there are falls in the agriculture sector, likewise the tourism, due to a certain reason that you've highlighted. But what measures have you to make sure that if such things happen in the end 2020, hope it will not have those impacts on the economy? And if you focus in that direction, definitely I think it will help us to plan, because failing to plan well, it means planning to fail. So the other thing that I would also like to know will be, how are we going to bail out our dying SOEs, that is the state-owned enterprises? because the essence of creating this state-owned enterprises is for them to be paying dividends to government and also give services to the ordinary citizens. But going through the budget, I have only seen one or two whom we know that they are expected to pay dividends. I understand they are in critical situations based on past histories and the like, but what are we doing to make sure that we bail them out? We bring them forward so that we can start seeing the positive effects that they can contribute to the economy and also the positive effect that they can contribute to the ordinary citizens of the Gambians. Definitely we should be thinking in that direction, and I think Honorable Minister can better help us on that. The other thing is, that's like the Honorable Member of Serekunda highlighted yesterday, that is the duty waivers. Duty waivers at the port, at the point of entry. We've been, we are interested to know, based on ministries and departments, how many duty waivers have been issued? Because once you do that, it means you are decreasing revenue or whatever in another number, in another point. So how much of that have been done in 2019? And I hope there are strict measures to make sure that some of the duty waiving at the port will be reduced based on reasons. So, Honorable Speaker, coming to the expenditure, the last year budget, we expected to spend, that is 28 billion, and this year there is an increase of, let's say, this year there is an increase of 2 billion, that is 30 billion. What we should ask ourselves is, the bulk of the expenditure is going to debt service, because if you look at debt servicing, 41% of these expenditures are going to it. That is 9 billion. I'm also interested to know, because if you compare it with that of 2019, if you look at the figure for debt servicing, was something like 4 billion, but now it is increasing to 9 billion. And I think we are talking of restructuring some of our debts and also coming up with some means. So what have led to this? Are we just closing our eyes and say, let's pay our debt once and for all? In the local layman's point of view, I think it's better you help us with that, Honorable Minister. Honorable Speaker, coming to the ministry's budget, like have been said by my previous colleagues, looking at the budgets per ministry, you will see the bulk of the monies being allocated to recurrent. And that is common sense. We cannot afford not to pay the services rendered by our employees or our civil servants. We have to. That is it. We have to keep the government running. We have to keep the state running. So definitely, Honorable Speaker, the recurrent budget is very high, but we have to also invest in the development aspect, because as a country guided by the National Development Plan that we are all singing, I think it is definitely very, very important we look at the development aspect. We want to be like countries like Singapore, we want to be like countries like the United States of America and the like, but we cannot be like those countries if we are not investing in development. We have to. I don't know where I'm going to get the money, but we have to invest in development. Because for me personally and others, I want to see my constituency being like Banjul or any other constituency within the greater Banjul area. Not we remain as how we are. Honorable Speaker, if you also look at the combined GLF loans and grants, we are still spending more on recurrent. That is 21 billion, and then the development is only 13 billion. Going to the sector's budgets, and I have this question for the Honorable Minister. What should we ask ourselves is, what was allocated to them in 2019? How was it spent? That is to the various committees, that is the various National Assembly members. Like for health, how was the 2019 budget on health spent? That will definitely interest every honorable member, because it's one thing to prioritize a department or agency or a ministry, but if they are not spending based on the priority needs of the citizen, definitely I think it leaves much to be desired for them to be prioritized again. We have to put in measures, whereas if we put in money in a particular ministry, we have to see the positive effects reflecting on our electors, positive effects reflecting on the citizens, because that's why we are here. So, Honorable Minister, I think it is important for all the ministries, departments, and agencies for us to know how much have they spent their 2019 budget. If not, definitely, it wouldn't help us in our prioritization. Coming to the health sector, if you look at the National Development Plan, every ministry have their target indicators. Now, coming to the health sector, they have their indicators based on the National Development Plan that they wish to achieve. And I think this budget is aligned to the National Development Plan. So now, what we should ask ourselves is, how are they doing in those various indicators based on the NDP? And if you ask me regarding health, I will tell you the only positive ones they're definitely delivering is, let's say, skilled birth deliveries and also immunization services. But if you look at the other indicators, let's look at maternal mortality. We all know that it's not a hidden secret, it is in the increase. And definitely it is unacceptable. Infant mortality rate, likewise others. So what can we do as a nation to make sure that these things are tackled? Honorable Speaker, like I said earlier, let's all look at the sectors based on their priorities and then based on their targets according to the National Development Plan. Because that is the guiding document, that is the guiding policy document that we have. If we spend not based on priorities and whatever, definitely I think we should look at how we allocate resources to each of them. So, Honorable Speaker, in essence, whatever we are doing here, whatever we are trying to do based on allocating the resources to maybe each ministry, department, or whatever, we should base it on the priorities of the National Development Plan. They are highlighted, very well defined there, and we have to tax them based on that. And now, henceforward, speaking from the Health Committee point of view, what we intend to do is, at the end of every quarter, we will collaborate with finance for them to give us how the expenditure on each budget line based on the ministry's budget, how are they been spending their allocated resources. And then we call them on board, discuss with them where they are going in the wrong direction or whatever. We see how best we can address that before waiting until the end of the year and say, you are spending too much on travel, spending too much on whatever. That will definitely help us in oversight functions. So, Honorable Speaker, in conclusion, this is a national budget, and this is the budget for the whole country. This is not the budget for an individual, or let's say this is not budget for the president only. This is our whole budget. If it is affected, if it is bad, I am affected. If it is bad, somebody is affected. We are all inclusive. So what we should do here is to come up with positive thinking, positive ideas on see how best we can make this document one of the best. Everybody is inclusive, but not like pointing fingers at this, pointing fingers at this. Where we see things are not prioritized, where we think spending are not definitely necessary and not justifiable, let's scrap that and put it to somewhere else. That's a welcome move. Personally, I welcome that. But I think some of the honorable members, the way they are definitely addressing some of these issues, I think it leaves much to be desired. You cannot just point fingers and say, Office of the President, this Office of the President. No. You cannot do that. Office of the President is one thing. It is an office in the country, like the National Assembly here. Let's take an example here. If we are not well resourced to do our oversight, if we are not well remunerated, I go to the Honorable Minister of Finance. I don't have fuel, I don't have fees money. He gave me money. He come here, will I challenge him? No, I won't. I won't. So let us look at in that direction. We have to allocate resources based on the responsibilities we have. If there is any budget line in the National Assembly that is not necessary, that is not justifiable, let us scrap it. Likewise, Office of the President, likewise others. But not just point fingers at one thing. No. So, Honorable Speaker, in short, I think that's what I have. I don't want to repeat what others have been saying since yesterday. And I think it is the starting point for this new dispensation. We have to thank the coalition stakeholders, all of them, for coming up with this thought, bringing everybody together to change the government. And now this government, everybody is inclusive. You have to contribute your quota, I contribute my quota, and we see how best we can develop this country. And and then now everything. Definitely, we have to thank the coalition stakeholders. Madam Speaker, I think that's what I have. If I go further, probably I might be emotional or whatever. Let me just stop there. Thank you.
Thank you very much.